Through NET, the change that literally it's changing the structure and the function of the brain. And what it's doing then is enabling people to actually be in a position, not a fight or flight, but that they can make a choice about how they want to live, that they can be even more of themselves.
Oh, for sure. So, it creates the ability for what I call positive neuroplastic change. Neuroplasticity is a big buzzword out there right now, right? Neuroplasticity, the ability to have neuroplasticity is always good. However, neuroplasticity is not always positive. An example of negative neuroplasticity is depression. You get sad, you wind up on that sadness, that becomes the loop that keeps you safe and alive, right? Not necessarily healthy, but it gets you to tomorrow. Chronic pain is another great example of neuroplasticity. You have pain in a limb, your brain gets so good at feeling pain, the inflammatory process, the substance P, all that stuff can go away in that limb, but you still feel pain there because your brain has not really rectified that signal yet to understand that it's okay or safe to get away from it. So you can have neuroplastic change on that. Anxiety is the same thing. What NET does is it kind of snaps that loop, right? It breaks that bond to that negative. Dr. Meg, my wife, always says the negative movies that play in your mind from all the bad things that happened in the past. It shuts the projector off and it allows you to reappropriate that blood, which then allows you to create that neuroplastic change.
Think of the brain as a forest, with your habits and thoughts forming trails. The more you use a trail, the clearer it gets. Neuroplasticity is the ability to create new paths. At first, they're hard to navigate, but as you use them, it becomes easier, while old trails fade. This is how the brain adapts, learns, and grows.
But when you disrupt that pattern, when you break that limbic loop, when you free that NEC, you free that energy and it increases the tone of the brain. It brings the hum of the brain up everywhere. It allows them to perceive the environment more appropriately, react to the environment more appropriately. Because if you're perceiving it from a position of fear, it's going to change the way you react to it. We're one of 2 animals on the planet that have to have social connection to be healthy. Our brain doesn't do well in isolation. It literally withers or atrophies and gets smaller. Isolation is a survival mechanism. I can't be hurt if I wall the hurt off, right? If I'm holed up in a cave, that's safe for me. Letting others in, being vulnerable. I love Brene Brown's work on vulnerability because that vulnerability is the first thing that you have to do to open your heart, open your prefrontal, and accept others in. If you're all in your amygdala, you can't do that. That's shut off. We need to break that social isolation, that wind up around safety and feeling like we always have to be safe. And we need to reconnect to others. And we can't do that unless our prefrontal is strong. And this is a really great way to help break those chains.
A limbic loop is like a song stuck on repeat in your brain's emotional center. Imagine hearing a song that makes you feel uneasy, and the more you focus on it, the louder it gets, making you feel even more uneasy. The cycle keeps going until you hit stop and change the track. NET helps to break these limbic loops to allow your brain to function more harmoniously.
One of my favorite sayings by Dr. Walker is, emotions are just thoughts in motion. And that's exactly what it is, because it's literally going through those same channels. The cerebellum has to make it smooth and coordinated. The basal ganglia has to kind of shed away the unwanted thoughts and emotions, and the prefrontal cortex plans it, initiates it, and puts it into action. So when those 3 areas of the brain work together, your movements are pretty. When those 3 areas of the brain work together, your emotions are pretty. But when your amygdala is wound up, those 3 areas don't work at the same speed. And so that's where the NEC is, that pattern disruptor, to break that, to allow those 3 to come back online together. And I think that's what you guys were seeing with the research with the anterior cingulate, the parahippocampus. It's a lot of those areas. The parahippocampus is part of that basal nucleus, right, or basal ganglia, which filters unwanted thoughts, emotions, and movements. And you guys were seeing a huge change in the function of that, as well as prefrontal areas like anterior cingulate and obviously the cerebellum.
When the amygdala is stuck in overdrive, it's like static interfering with the brain's communication channels, disrupting its ability to function as a whole. But one's landmark study in 2017 showed that NET can restore that flow, increasing functional connectivity in the brain. This helps quiet those limbic loops and opens the door to positive neuroplastic change.